Hi everyone! In this video, we will solve a rational equation that results in a quadratic equation. Solve 6 over x minus 7 equals x over 3. The first thing we want to find is the lowest common denominator and multiply it to both sides. There isn't anything in common with our binomial of x minus 7 and 3, so we'll need both of those for the lowest common denominator. So we'll take 3 and the binomial of x minus 7. And we'll multiply that to both sides of the equal sign to keep it balanced. 3 times x minus 7 and 3 times x minus 7. There are some who will go ahead and do cross multiplication on this, and that will work too. In fact, it's a little bit faster than what we're doing here, but we're showing all of our steps when we multiply by the lowest common denominator, but we'll still get the same thing. On the left-hand side, x minus 7 divided by x minus 7 cancel. So we're left with 3 and 6. On the right-hand side, 3 divided by 3 cancels, and we're left with x and x minus 7. So on the left-hand side, 3 times 6 is 18. On the right-hand side, we have x times x minus 7. And to continue solving, we'll need to use the distributive property. So we get 18 equals x squared minus 7x. Now, because we have multiple terms with x in them, we can't isolate it yet. So we'll have to get all of the terms to one side. So I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides, giving us 0 equals x squared minus 7x minus 18. Now we have a quadratic, and we know how to solve those by factoring and then using the zero product property to set each of the factors equal to the 0. So let's look for factors of 18 that will add together to give us 7. The factors of 18 will come up here. 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And it looks like we're all done. That's as many as we have. So now let's look at the signs from our quadratic for our equation here. The last sign is a negative. That tells me that the factors that we will use will have one positive and one negative, that they're different signs. And then this negative tells us that the larger of the two is negative. So for all of my negatives here, or all of my larger terms, factors here, I'm going to put a negative. And because they need to be different, the smaller ones will all be positive. Now we're going to look for a combination here that will give us the middle term of negative 7, which is this here, our two factors of positive 2 and negative 9. So we will replace the negative 7, giving us x squared plus 2x minus 9x minus 18, and this equals 0. Factor this by grouping. We'll group the first two and the last two. The first two have an x as the greatest common factor, so we'll factor that out, leaving us x plus 2. And the next two have in common the greatest common factor of negative 9, so we'll factor that out, leaving us x plus 2. Now that we've factored this greatest common factor, we're going to factor out the greatest common factor again. In this case, it's a binomial, x plus 2, and factoring it out, we're left with x minus 9. And this is still equal to 0. Now using the zero product property, that means we will take the two factors, x plus 2, set it equal to 0, and the other factor of x minus 9, and set it equal to 0, and then solve for x. So the first one will subtract 2 from both sides, which gives us x equals negative 2. And on the right side, we will add 9 to both sides, giving us x equals positive 9. So we have two answers of x equals negative 2 and 9. And now we're all done.